What's going on, guys? Sam Wave here, and in today's video we are going to have a chat. Welcome back to Sofa Talks, where we chat about things, and I just made up that series on the spot, but I like it. The UK is finished. Honestly, I've never seen a country more finished. Maybe America, but the UK currently has reached a point where it's receding. It's a hairline that hasn't been to Turkey yet. We are honestly on the brink of collapse. Now, there still is hope. And I'd like to add my perspectives on the hope that I feel like is still available in this country. But the UK right now is struggling. It's not an easy place to be at. You know, it's not an easy place to live. The pressures are mounting up. The societies are falling. And there's a reason why I named my YouTube channel when I first got it open, called Fucked Society, which is up there. I named my YouTube channel back in the day, Fucked Society. And that's exactly what it is. Fucked. I'm just going to read a couple sentences from my book, The Seed, the System and You. And this chapter here is called Living in Britain. Now in the index it's got, loads of different things that I've written about. But over here, chapter 30, Living in Britain. Oh, what's he going to say? Is it going to get him cancelled? What are we going to do with Adam now? Okay, let's see. Chapter 30. This is why I wrote a book, because it's easier to write stuff than talk. Living in Britain. Here we go. Living in Britain is like living in the environment of a narcissistic family. You know you should speak up, but held by the throat of financial demand. They help us get by enough to keep us needing them. They require enough of us to keep having to show up. You can't leave or quit, or society will swallow you up whole and use the remaining energy to fuel even more divide. It doesn't take an educated mind to know that living in Britain is a struggle. We tear down the rich, expecting to leave poverty behind, not realising the rich are the ones who keep us poor. If you bite the hand that feeds you, then you'll be left with nothing but a hungry belly and an anger for justice. Will that justice ever come? Will politicians stop dancing in our faces whilst we struggle to survive? I doubt it. For hundreds of years we have been slaves to the system, and before now the conditions for living in the system have been horrendous. It wasn't until the illusion of individualism did we find our work outfits change from cloth to Nike. This feeling that we can afford designer clothes has distracted from the fact that we are still slaves. I used to think slavery was a thing of the past. I've always known about corruption and illegal labour practices. It was once I learned that we, the working class generation, have not been freed from the very chains we read about in history. There we have it. So I hope this book doesn't get censored or taken off the shelves, but it's not even on a shelf. Maybe on my aunt's shelf, but it's not on actual shelves yet. Only online. You can buy a copy now in the link in the description below. But it's easy for people to say that the UK is finished and then also not come up with solutions, because a lot of people that think the UK is finished has gone to Thailand. They've moved to Dubai. They've literally gone to America and they've left this country alone, and they've sort of shout from a different country and say, well, look, it's cheaper here in Thailand. It's so expensive in the UK, but I can get a meal for 30p in Thailand. It's not a good standing point to leave a country and then slag it off. So I'm standing in the country and I'm going to give my opinions on why this country has gone to the gutter, but why there still is hope. And I have a new vision and an idea of a new earth that can come out of this. Something can come out of the struggle. It's not that we have to stay in this repeated cycle of we struggle, we try and have a revolution, we then get suppressed even more because the people in power don't like the fact that we're protesting or rioting. You have to come at a new approach, a sort of slower, subtle, peaceful approach that will slowly integrate change. Bear in mind, there's a reason why I've been teetotal for 3 years. There's a reason I don't drink alcohol anymore. And it's not because I think I'm better than anyone. It's not because I feel like drinking is the worst thing in the world for people to do. It's not that I don't want to fit in with people or this country, because I know Britain is a boozing country. It's the fact that if we are always hungover and we are always drunk, we are easily manipulated by the system. We are easily manipulated and too hungover to even make change. Now, the number one issue that this country has is it loves alcohol, and the system knows that it loves alcohol. The people that cause these issues know that most of the people in this country will by the end of the week or end of the night be drunk. They won't even have the energy in the morning to revolt. They won't even have the energy in the morning to carry on what they said last night. A lot of these conversations that happen in pubs, in social clubs, in unions, in group chats, online, on social media, none of this is backed with the strength that is needed to implement action. If we're always drunk and we're always hungover, how can you think clearly? How can you have the clarity needed to realise what's going on, what's happened, and what we need to do. Even the leaders in this world, they drink alcohol. You know, most of the people that make the choices that determine your future, they still drink at the end of the evening. Have you ever seen any war film? Those guys are drinking all day, every day, and then they dictate where the soldiers are going. They say where the soldiers are going after having like a double Scotch whiskey. Do you know what I'm saying? That these people are drunk making choices about people, and then they just drink to forget about the fact that they've made more people miserable. It's actually evil. Like, it's the fact that this country isn't ran by sober men. It's ran by drunk bigots, and they just want to fuel their drinking habits and their coke-fueled conversations and then run this country. You know, it can't be a good thing that most people in higher up positions aren't sober. Surely you want someone to lead you that is sober. This is the issue. The number one issue I have with this country is that we have a drinking problem. The vast majority of the UK shuns on anyone that is sober. They sort of see us as a weird bunch of people. But we're the people that see things. We're the people that observe what's going on. We're the people with the voice that can actually articulate our thoughts and what we want to say without slurring them or being drunk. That's the issue. The number one issue is the drinking. Now, if we had a load of working class men that didn't have to rely on drinking or the unpredictability of football matches that can spike their emotions, we'd have a really good, strong fleet of people to have a say. But I feel like there's a lot of people in this world that could get things done in the appropriate manner if they didn't waste their weekends just numbing themselves out with alcohol and numbing themselves out with drugs. But the issue is that all of these systematic issues are making people more stressed and more inclined to go to their addictions. So if you don't have these addictions, you don't have these distractions, you're thinking clearer, you know what to do, you have more energy to show up. And that's exactly why I'm sober. It's not because of some self-absorbed issues. It's more because it's a collective issue that I realised, well, I can, achieve this amount of success in my personal life, but if I'm drinking, it sort of brings me back down a notch or keeps me behind. So I realised if you stop drinking, you actually can play catch up and sort of meet people on the front line and realise, right, what are we doing now? Where are we going to lead society? Where are we going to go from here? Because I'm not got the shakes, I'm not craving anything. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I don't even have coffee. So I'm literally raw dogging life. And I'm literally ready. I'm ready. What are we going to do from here? So obviously we've got the rising costs of everything, all goods. And because of Brexit and we left the EU, everything's meant to be British made. But we don't have the climate to make most of the things that we enjoy. Of course, you can have a potato diet if you really want a potato diet, but we might as well go back to World War II when we're on rations. I mean, working together is literally what built this nation, what built this country. This British Empire that was prior to this was built on slave work, was built on other countries, was built on importation. I'm not someone who went to university. I left college at 16. I sound like Alan Sugar when I'm saying this. I went and left college when I was 16. I built my way up through the entrepreneur route. I've made money since I was 16 and I run a successful business now. I have my own flat. I live in the countryside, and it sounds like a privileged point of view. But there's a reason why I got all the way here, and there's a reason why I'm going to continue to go and grow further, because I've got a stubborn mind in my head and I've got some things and perspectives that I think people could take on board, hence why I've written a book. There's no other reason why I wrote this. If I didn't think my mind was valuable, then I wouldn't have written this. The issue that I've noticed is I've been in my own systems before. As a YouTuber, there are the same hierarchy system as in the world. We have the top YouTubers who have millions and millions of pounds, and they don't help the below tiers. So in any hierarchy, there has to be someone at the top and there has to be people below them to give them that status. If you don't believe that everyone is equal, you're obviously going to play the game of hierarchy. So you have to play in the game of, I'm better than you, I know more than you, I have more resources than you, I have more money than you. So you're going to work for me, you're going to listen to me, and you're going to play into my game. So most of the YouTubers at the top have millions and millions of pounds, but that's because of a system in their own right. They all play with each other and they get the money based off them helping each other, and they keep it in a tight system, just like the upper class do in this country, just like the upper class do in every single country there is. The rich play with their money and give it to their friends. They don't want anyone else from lower classes to come up. And what you'll see is that they'll keep the arena going. The rich class will start paying the working class in only ways that they can. So boxing, they might fund a couple of, events here, but they'll continue to sort of extract money from the working class to keep them rich. They'll put out products that will keep them rich and make the working class poor. They won't help the working class, but the eyes of the working class are what makes these people rich. If you take away the working class eyes, these people aren't rich no more because they don't have what's the most valuable currency, which is attention. And if you don't have attention, these people feel miserable on their thrones. Kings for years going back have loved the attention of the population, mostly because of wars. They've loved to win wars and get an applause. It's been that sort of way of living. But these day and age, YouTubers and influencers aren't going to start wars. They can't. You've seen some YouTubers inciting riots. They've got, nicked for that sort of thing or suppressed. But you never see YouTubers talking about anything political or anything to do with mental health, anything to do with money, anything to do with, how to build businesses. They don't want to help anyone, because why would they want to help anyone if they're already comfy where they are? Because they feel like they'll get knocked out of the way. So that's the same thing as in this world. The rich don't want you to do well because otherwise they won't feel superior to you. That's just as weird as it sounds, but it is what it is. Most people that are up here don't want to be down here. And that's just a perception, because working class people have more things than these upper class people have. Upper class people are riddled with family dramas, toxicity, addictions. They are riddled with loneliness, depression, anxiety. It's the same sort of thing that we all share as humans. We are just one human. We are one human experiencing the same thing. Separation is literally an illusion. The different classes is an illusion. We all have to do the same things. We all have to go for a shit in the morning. We all have to have breakfast, lunch and dinner. We all have to find love in our lives. We all have to have family in our lives. We all have a pet. Do you know what I mean? We all have the same similarities, yet we all feel like that the one thing that separates us is money. And money is the root of all evil. I believe that so. And that's the issue with this country, is that we don't spread around resources because just greed runs this population. Greed is what is fueling this divide. Greed is what is stopping the UK from progressing. Greed is literally the reason why the UK is finished, but it doesn't have to end there, because greedy people run the UK. The UK flourishes. You've been to nice parts of the UK and you're like, wow, this is amazing. There's a lot going on in the UK. I moved to the countryside out of London and I was less depressed. I didn't want to go to the pub every 5 seconds. I didn't want to numb myself out. I can actually see nature. I can see the animals. I can see how life is on a slower rate and a slower pace. Life here is really, really peaceful, and it's a privilege, but I lived in London my whole life and I deserve this. I feel like I deserve this because I've worked hard and I became a free crab out of a bucket. And the crabs in a bucket mentality keeps people divided. I mean, the UK and London specifically have a bunch of creators that are creating nothing but saying they're creators. There's nothing they're creating apart from clothing lines. We're just clothing ourselves even more. Wear these cloths. Put on more cloths. That's it. Or shoes or fashion. We're going on catwalks. What is this? This isn't creativity. This is ego-based lust for attention. There is nothing that can come out of this creation. Back in the day, we would create things that have actual purpose. But most people are just creating for profit. They would rather have profit than peace. And there's no peace after profit. This is a greedy world. There's a greedy society. The YouTubers have become greedy. The Mr. Beastification of YouTubers made everything greedy. There's no peace. And the irony is, the solution to all this is to get rid of the people that have all the greed. They need to be humbled and to sort of have the sort of reflection that can make them realise that they're not doing the right thing. And to tell one of these people that they're not doing the right thing is an ego death in itself. I mean, only the strongest mushrooms could probably dissolve that ego. But that's another conversation in itself. There are loads of people that are way more qualified than me to talk on these issues. And I know that. There are textbooks, there are courses, there are university degrees that people feel entitled because they have the information in their mind. But they haven't lived the life I've lived. They haven't lived of someone who's gone through the churn of things. They've just gone through the churn of educational systems. And that's a different path. People who have gone through the barrel of life than people who have just gone through the educational system. Obviously, you change from the day you enter to the day you come out. But the day that you enter the life The day you enter life school is very, very different to the day you enter an educational system. The system that you go through life and being knocked down and being rejected and not being able to get the funding and not being able to live through this current climate and build yourself back up is different than being supported and being validated about how much you know about Henry VIII, for example. The reason I wrote this book is not just because I want you to buy it. I would give it out for free, but I can't do that because I obviously wrote it. It took me 3 years of going out of the system to write this book, and it's a hardback. Listen to that, proper quality. And it's not too big. There's a lot to read in it, but this will help you. I have a lot to say, but I can't say it all on YouTube. I can't do the Kanye. I can't call out people. I can't just say a load of things that I know. But I need you to read this book, and I say everything I know in here. There's a reason I can't say all this stuff because I just get censored and I get suppressed. So I wrote a book with all of the things that will help you, and I genuinely think this will help you. It's not perfect. I'm not perfect. You know, I would say I'm a flawed individual, but I have tried my best to better my life and to go on a better path. But I wrote this book for the people. I wrote this book because I believe it can implement change in people's lives. I'm not saying I know more than you. I'm just making you remember the things you know by giving you triggers. And this book will trigger you into reminding yourself of the change that you're possible of making. And the thing is, you can't tear down the system anymore like the old way. You can't tear down the system like the French did. You can't. It's not going to work. The world's evolved to protect the people at the top. The only way the system can change is if the people at the bottom of the pyramid start to raise their awareness through certain understandings. And it doesn't take violence. We can't go the violent route anymore. We have to think of new solutions. We have to change ourselves from within. We have to change our responses to certain things. We have to stop giving people attention. If you ignore most of the things that are going on, you can actually have a happier life. If you turn off the news, if you stop reading the newspapers, if you stop scrolling on Facebook and stop scrolling and getting distracted by YouTubers, if you stop giving people attention that are greedy for it, then the system changes. You realize your world changes. And if enough people can change from within and stop giving their attention to things that are draining their energy, then you'll actually get more energy to do the things that you want to do. You can have the families, you can, live where you want to live, you can have the job that you want to have, you can do the hobbies that you want to have. It's just that our energy is being spent more than our currency is. Our currency is not valuable anymore. Most people are on a set wage. They know how much you're going to get every single month, but it's more about your attention, where you put your 24 hours a day attention. If you're spending your attention on being drunk, you're not going to have much energy left. If you spend your energy on mindlessly scrolling on TikTok, you've lost more of your time. If you spend your energy on toxic environments, toxic conversations, and toxic relationships, you've lost more of your time. If you spend more of your energy on sports and you're draining it by reacting negatively because your football team has lost and you're angry now and you hate life and you go out and you drink and do drugs because a football player didn't score a goal, you've lost more of your time and energy. Now, it leaves you with one little part of energy where you care about the things going on. You might make a tweet going on because you see something outrageous, but they've literally got you by the energy. It's not the money. It's never been about the money. It's been about your attention. Have you ever not paid a TV license and realised you didn't have to pay it for a year? It's a distraction. Money has become the distraction and it's zapping your energy. And if you don't have the energy to think clearly, you don't have the energy to make the things work that you know should work. You have enough skills within you to change your reality. You have enough knowledge within you to change your reality. You have enough compassion, love, and empathy to change your reality. But the thing is, when you don't have the energy and your attention is elsewhere, you will never get anything to change. So this is an energy game. The UK is only finished because our attention is on the negatives. This world is built off negatives. If you go on your Instagram right now and you see a negative, oh, Molly May's broken up with someone, you're looking at that rather than looking at the actual issues. There's a reason why I have become a yogi. I can't stress enough how much if you just breathe through your nose and take a deep breath and be grateful for the things that you have in your life currently, your family, your loved ones, the pets, the animals, the oxygen, the health, everything you currently have now makes you rich. In comparison to a third world country, you are rich. One of my main pieces of advice I can give is to just sort of count your blessings by writing them down each morning. Each morning, say 5 things you're grateful for, and then go to bed and say 5 more things. And if you do that for 30 days, you'll realize how blessed you are, and you'll stop giving your attention to the negatives in the world. The whole reason why the world is pulling you down is because it's meant to. They are trying to actively keep you suppressed by keeping you angry, in state of lower vibrations of fear, anger, depression, sadness. All of those are in a line where they keep you controlled. If you can break through that and be happy for the things that you have, be happy for the income you have, be happy for the job that you have, be happy for the opportunities that you have, you can use the resources that you have and you can stack them from there. It's all about compounding your experience. If you can compound your experience, you'll be able to get more of what you're grateful for already. If you're not grateful for what you have currently, you'll never be happy with more things. You'll never be happy with more money, with more resources, with more lust, with more temptations. You will never be happy. It's hard for me not to go on a ramble, and that's why I knew there was a lot of things that I've always wanted to say, but I can't say it all online. It's not possible for me to say it all online. And that is honestly why I wrote the book, The Seed, the System and You. It is about you. It is about the system, and it's about the seeds that we all plant. In The Seed, the System and You, Kofi Paints invites readers on a transformative journey towards self-empowerment and heightened awareness. Through a collection of heartfelt personal stories, KP illustrates the profound impact of positive habits and intentional living. Seamlessly blending insightful reflections with practical wisdom and humour, this book serves as a guiding light for those navigating life's challenges. With each turn of the page, readers are inspired to cultivate their seeds of change, unlocking the power within to shape their destiny. Whether you're seeking to overcome obstacles, enhance relationships, or simply live a more fulfilling life, The Seed, the System and You offers a roadmap for personal growth and empowerment. Prepare to embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation, guided by knowledge found within these pages. I promise you, this isn't a money grab. This is a book to help individual people come out of the struggle. And I've been through the struggle myself, whether it's addictions, financial issues, lots of personal issues. I've had so many things go wrong in my life, and I've made them right, and I've compounded my knowledge and my experiences into this book. And it took me 2+ years to get this all out of my brain. I moved into a van, I escaped the system for a bit, travelled around Europe, lived on an island, Ibiza, with my partner, and we've just transformed our lives. It's a miracle how I've transformed my life, and I really do believe this will help people. This isn't written by a boarding school kid. This isn't written from someone overly educated. This is from a normal guy, you know? I'm just a normal guy who made funny videos back in the day, and now I've got some serious things that I've wanted to say. Like, this is a serious book. It's not. There is funny and there is humour in this. It's still not too serious, but I think it's time that people saw my serious side. I've never really shown my serious side. I know a lot of things. Sometimes it's hard for me to communicate them. It's hard for me to get them out, but that's why I wrote, because I found it easier to talk about it in my book than just getting on a podcast and waffling for ages. But I promise you, this is from my heart. This is something I'm really proud of, and I really do hope that people get a chance to read this in their life. It doesn't have to be this week. It doesn't have to be this year. It can be in 50 years' time you decide to read this. But the sooner you do, the easier you'll understand certain things. And I'm just really proud of it. I honestly am. I still can't believe. Every time I look at this, I'm like, I can't believe I have a book. So in my opinion, the UK is finished, but not fully. The UK has so much potential. The only reason it has potential is because of you. I honestly believe that everyone watching this has the potential to turn their reality into one that they want to live. And it all starts with the seed, the system, and you. Leave a comment below why you think the UK is finished from your perspective, and what you would do personally if you were in power to change it into a better world, into a better country. And give your opinions down below, because I do believe that you know what to do. I will see you in my next video. Peace out.